Alright, hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing NXT September 26, 2023 edition. And this edition of NXT was the go-home show before No Mercy, designed to set the stage for that premium live event, a show that should be unforgettable. Melo and Ethan Dragunov would sign a contract for their title match, and Butch and Joe Coffey would fight in the final round of the Global Heritage Invitational. The Gold brand needed to set the stage for Tuesday. Needed to set the stage on Tuesday for one of its biggest events to date, and well, they failed. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action. Starting with the Global Heritage Invitational Final, Butch versus Joe Coffey. Butch winning that match is going to be Butch versus Noam Dar, No Mercy for the Heritage Cup. And Butch versus Joe delivered, though it did not live up to Butch's previous performances with Axiom and Tyler Bate. That mainly came down to structure, as this felt too much like a showcase instead of a heated battle, and it also didn't help that the story of the match was inconsistent. Still, this ranks among the best matches Coffey has had in NXT. He was clearly the focal point and looked more like the destroyer he was in NXT UK. At the end of the day, the Bruiserweight needed this win. It is likely his NXT run will end after No Mercy, so the brand needs to use him to the fullest while he is there. He will push Noam Dar to what will likely be a career best match at No Mercy. Number 1 contenders match for NXT North American Championship. You had Dragon Lee versus Tyler Bate versus Axiom versus Trick Williams. Trick Williams gets the win here. It will be Trick Williams versus Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy for the North American Championship. And this match was a showcase of the NXT of the past couple of months. Everyone delivered in this match, selling the importance of the moment. Trick was the center of the story here, desperate to win his first opportunity. However, he was outmatched by the pure athleticism of his competitors. Luckily, he was in the right spot at the right time and able to pick up the win. And while Bate and Axiom have earned a title shot of their own, Trick has the best story at the moment to tell with Dominic Mysterio, since Dragon was not able to finish the job just yet, although things might not be over between those two. The crowd will buy into Trick beating Dirty Dom, whether it happens or not. And I don't know, I thought Dragon Lee would take the title from Dominic Mysterio. Didn't happen. Now I'm looking at this matchup, and it does make sense for Trick Williams to be the one to beat Dominic Mysterio, so I could totally see that one happening. And the show concludes with the contract signing between Melo and Ethan Dragunov, and this was a solid closing statement before the match, though it could have been bigger. Melo did not quite sell himself as a vulnerable champion, instead kind of sticking with his usual routine. The Mad Dragon has been Melo's best opponent. The two will deliver again at No Mercy. The question is, though, will they top what they did at the Great American Bash? We shall see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in thinking that they will. So in conclusion, NXT has had a string of big shows recently, and it was inevitable that a down week was coming. I mean, to be honest, down weeks, they happen. It is a disappointment, though, that the go-home show was where the down week happened, and NXT was not able to deliver that final hype to push No Mercy over the top. Butch versus Joe Coffey, I talked about the top. It was good, but not great. There was that strap match between Dijak and Eddie Thorpe that just did not deliver on the hype, and for whatever reason is continuing. Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton, they didn't appear live on the program, but they did have a solid little video package to kind of put in some final build to their match. Dirty Dominic Mysterio also didn't appear live. He did a pre-taped interview. Melo versus Ethan Dragunov delivered a basic contract signing at the end of a limited rematch build. So most of the night highlighted, and I think most of the night highlighted by squash matches that did not elevate the winners. And again, squash matches are some of the laziest ways you can book people to win. And honestly, squash matches usually don't elevate the winner, and it's usually just with lazy booking. And if it was not for the fatal 4-way match, the entire show, you could just skip the entire show and you would have missed anything. The only feud that NXT has really committed to building in last week was Baron Corbin versus Braun Breaker, and even though they had like 3 different brawling segments, it didn't really do much. It didn't make up for the lack of heat over the past month. So I mean, it was kind of entertaining watching those brawls, and even more entertaining watching all the people standing around like a bunch of doofuses just yelling. I mean, pole part brawls are quite hilarious how they're booked. So lackluster show, but No Mercy will make up for it. So even if this show didn't get you hyped for No Mercy, just look at the card, and that'll be all the hype you need. Because there's one thing we know about premium live events, is that the talent always delivers. And with that, that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.